So growing up, I played a few video games. I played a couple Nintendo games, but I think the most memorable games that I played were two, which was Battlefield Bad Company and Half-Life 2. And I did a review, an extensive review, about 19 minutes long, about why I like Battlefield Bad Company as a game, which was a very basic but a really fun single-player experience. And I loved it because of the fact that it was a very good military first-person shooter that was fun to play, that really, as a storyline, was very interesting and had a lot of comedy in it, and was not too serious, and there were so many good things that I liked about the game, but specifically that it was a really great single-player experience. If you would like to watch that video, I'll link in the description the review that I did of that game. But it was usually that or Half-Life 2. Half-Life 2 has been considered one of the best games of all time. I agree with that statement. I think Half-Life 2 is an exceptionally amazing game. The world, the universe of the game, the lore of it is fantastic, and the story of the game that you play as Gordon Freeman is excellent. It's awesome. And it's possibly my favorite game of all time. So really, it's those two games that I really kind of have been attached to, and I would love to revisit in the future. But all in all, those games were great because of the single player element of the game. You could just play the narrative out, you go from one level to the next, and once you finish the game, you finished the game. I mean, it was done. And this also was applied to like Call of Duty. I did play a lot of Call of Duty back then, but I mostly played the campaign, as I would somewhat become exhausted and tired of the multiplayer experience playing those games. I didn't really get into them that much. I really liked Call of Duty World at War, and I like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. These were two really fun games and had great campaigns in them. With all that said, though, first-person shooters were my main kind of go-to games, and the campaigns within those games were really fun to me, but at the same time, I wouldn't be devoting hours upon hours to playing these games. I would play maybe 20 minutes worth, become bored or uninterested, and start doing something else while I was growing up. I had a friend growing up who was so addicted to playing the PS3 and playing all the PS3 games from God of War to, I don't know, what was it, Resistance and stuff, that he would just sit in his room for hours staring at the screen. Now, I do think the dude had an addictive personality because of the fact that he devoted so many hours to these games that his performance in school started getting worse. He had started getting bad grades. His test scores were going down. He was getting like D's and F's, and it was really starting to become a problem because he was not really focusing on the things that mattered. He was focusing more on video games. And I kind of took away from that experience of hanging around him, and the fact that he just did nothing else other than playing video games, in that I did not really attach myself to kind of playing games a lot and kind of devoting myself to hours of sitting in a chair or sitting in a room playing video games, especially like in multiplayer. My brother was a huge computer game guy. He played this really classic looking, very primitive looking game called Runescape. I think many people know about it, but he would devote so much time to playing that game. And I played it for a little bit, but I saw how repetitive it could get and how the graphics weren't very impressive, nor was the gameplay was not interesting to me that much, of like collecting items, of like gaining experience points and stuff. It wasn't really interesting to me whatsoever. I didn't really have that much, I didn't really focus on that game too much. And also, the game that he also played was like Skyrim and World of Warcraft. And those games I played a little bit, but I could see that they were just a step up from RuneScape in that sense of like you just collect items, you would work on whatever tools or whatever, and you would just you would just gain experience points in whatever specific area that was placed into the game, whatever skill set that you were given or had to focus on, you would have to upgrade it. And the system that they had in these games, to me, wasn't something that got me interested in playing those games because of the repetitive nature of doing side quests, doing these things over and over to improve your skills. And that's the thing that, like, now looking back growing up, I think that my interest in video games began to diminish with the fact that I started becoming more addicted to YouTube. I think that watching YouTube videos of games, watching walkthroughs, became more fascinating to me than playing the actual games, because when I saw someone playing it and who did the missions very well, whatever game it might be, from Half-Life 2 to Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker, whatever. When I saw someone play the game effectively, I thought, okay, that would be something that I would rather watch than have me play the game itself and me losing and really becoming frustrated and irritated with the aspect of how difficult the game was. So I would just be like, all right, I'm gonna fucking do something else instead. And that's how, like, my experience kind of went, is that because I would become frustrated with games, I would just watch the walkthroughs or watch Let's Plays and become addicted to those. And over time, as YouTube was starting to grow, and as I started seeing people with their channels create video essays, to educational videos, to videos that were very informative, I was thinking, man, I would really love to create that type of content. I would really like to focus on that type of editing and that type of presentation of kind of doing like voiceover narration and stuff. That's something that I would be really interested in doing. And that's where I kind of deviated from the course. I really stopped playing video games, and I started learning how to do video editing. I remember the first video editing software I used was Windows Movie Maker, which was basic but always fun to use and fun to edit with. After Windows Movie Maker, I used Pinnacle, and after Pinnacle, I started using Wondershield Filmora, which I'm still using today because of how simple and useful it is, and all the tools and features that are added to that kind of software are pretty amazing. So yeah, I devoted much of my time to video editing and making YouTube videos and less towards video games. And the thing is that nowadays, most people love watching streamers, people love watching walkthroughs, people love playing video games all the time, especially my generation. And the thing is that it's hard for me to relate to people on that level, because while I like playing board games with people, and I'll go over to somebody's house, and if they want to play a game, video game, I'll join them in cooperative play or something like that. But I'm not going to devote myself to watching constantly walkthroughs now, or just try to buy like a Nintendo Switch, which I was gonna intend to do, but I thought about it and I'm thinking, it's really expensive. I'm not really that interested in buying a Nintendo Switch now. I think I'm just gonna focus on continue making videos and stuff. But I don't know, it's just over time, as gaming culture has become so huge in the world and people devote so much time to it, I'm not interested in it whatsoever. I think if you're doing it, if you're devoting a lot of your time to it, it's just like, that's cool if you're getting something out of it, if it makes you a lot more productive, if you enjoy it. Yeah, but at the same time, I feel like many times when I was playing video games growing up, I could have used that time instead of improving my video editing skills. I could have published more videos in that time instead of wasting a lot of my youth, a lot of my teenage years playing video games. And that's the thing that I kind of have a problem with it, is that I feel, looking back on it, like, yeah, I did waste a lot of time, playing those types of FPS shooters, playing those types of games, and because I should have been a lot more productive. And I wish I could say like a lot more positive things about video games, but the reality is nowadays I just do not have the attention span for it. I could watch a 3-hour long documentary series. I could watch Ken Burns' Vietnam, Ken Burns' Civil War documentary series, but I just cannot play the new Legend of Zelda game. I can't play Minecraft anymore. I can't play Fortnite or any of those games that are still very much popular in the culture, because to me it's just I have no interest in that. My brother, I remember, he played a lot of also like League of Legends and like I stated, World of Warcraft, and those MMORPGs, to me, while they look kind of cool, it seems to me that over time, again, like I stated with RuneScape, they become extremely repetitive in the sense of like, you have to improve your skills, you have to improve this, you have to gain points for this, yada yada, and it doesn't really add anything to the experience of playing those games, because again, it's just side quest after side quest after side quest after side quest. And I'm kind of amazed that people don't see through that. They just see it almost in a way that they're addicted to improving their skill points, they're addicted to improving some, skill set that they have to do or focus on. And to me, I'm thinking like, wow, it's an addiction for many people, and it is an addiction. Video game addiction, I feel, is real. There's people who have devoted so much of their time to playing video games that it's really not benefited their life at all. Again, my friend, for example, when I was talking growing up, was one example where it just, his grades were not improving. They were getting worse, and he just was devoting so much time to playing video games all day long. Now, I've seen documentaries as well, like in China and South Korea, where dudes will be sitting for days playing video games. Dudes will be just, their health will be declining as they sit there playing games all day, every day, doing absolutely nothing else. And it becomes, I mean, it becomes a drug to them. They don't see any sort of other option for their life except just continuing to play video games. And I've never got to that level, and I think that it's kind of bizarre to me to see those types of people spend day in, day out playing like Warcraft, or playing, well, it's not Warcraft, I think was it Starcraft in South Korea, or like those type of other games that people play. I think another famous one that people still play is like Counter-Strike and Team Fortress 2, and people will devote hours and hours of their life to those games for such a long period of time that I'm just amazed at how dedicated they are to it and how glued to the screens they are all day long. I mean, it's weird to me. It honestly is weird to me. And I don't know, it's like, yeah, games are cool sometimes, you know, games are fun if you're doing it with a group. That's the best thing about like playing board games. I going to like board game meetups here in Colorado, while I don't know how to play these games, it's kind of fun to learn about how to play those games. It's fun to kind of understand the structure of the games, the kind of rules and such and so forth. But it's because the social element that's required with playing board games, that's required of it. Like, people ask me, hey, do I play any board games? I don't at all, to be honest with you. I really just do not play board games because, again, I live in an RV. I don't really have time for it, and I'm not that interested in it. I'm only doing it because it's the thing to do to socialize. That's the best way to socialize, is to play board games. So that's the main reason why I would do these things of like playing video games or playing board games with people, is because of the aspect of like socialization. And that's it. That's essentially it. Am I going to go out and buy any of these kind of expensive game sets? Absolutely not. I'm not going to go to the fucking board game store and buy these mint condition games like for $40 to $50 and be like, hey, I'm gonna bring it to the meetup. No, I'm not gonna fucking do that. I'm just gonna go to these places that host the meetups and just interact with people, and that's about it, because it's good to interact with other human beings. that's what I mean, that's the main reason why I'm doing it, is to improve my social skills and to improve the way that I communicate with people and talk. Because even with these type of rant videos that I do, I notice my social skills are always terrible. Like, I have a difficult time communicating and speaking. So I guess the best way to train, or the best way to improve, is to interact with other human beings. So yeah, that's the main point of it. I mean, there's this one guy, I mean, this is kind of a tangent, but there was this one guy at this board game meetup where he is just dedicated to playing board games, like all the time. That's all he does. He counts the points, all the scores on his phone. He has like an app for that on his phone, and he's just, all he is dedicated to playing board games all the fucking time. And to me, I'm not like that at all. I don't take these games serious at all. And this also can apply to like I stated, RuneScape, World of Warcraft, League of Legends, PUBG, what is it, Call of Duty Warzone. I just don't give a fuck about these games whatsoever. The kind of upgrades that you have within the games, to your weapons, to your costume, to, you know, whatever skins you can get. I don't fucking care about this shit. But it's what people are like into. That's the culture nowadays, I guess. What am I supposed to fucking do, right? What am I? Oh yeah, let me get into Legend of Zelda now. Now that I'm 27 and haven't really been interested or played the game that much throughout my life. I think the last, like I stated, was the last Legend of Zelda game that I played seriously was maybe Wind Waker, but that was more than like, I think 10 years ago. That was more than a decade ago, and I played it for a little bit, and then that was about it. I lost interest very quickly. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys addicted to video games? Do you guys like playing video games? Or as you gotten older, have you started to lose interest in those types of video games that I guess brought you joy when you were teenagers, when you were kids and stuff? Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. What do you guys still play video games constantly? Are you at a level where you start streaming. If you're a streamer, let me know. Hey, comment in the comment section down below. I hope you guys enjoyed me ranting about video games and stuff in this video, because that's what this is, completely unscripted, improvised bullshit coming out of my mouth, you know. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, enjoyed this rant, and like always, have a wonderful day.